So, greatest intro ever, or, I mean, what do you guys think?
I like it.
Yeah?
So he made that himself?
Yeah?
That's pretty impressive.
Do you actually like it, or are you just saying that?
No, I like
Rachel, you don't look impressed.
So,
Words, I don't
I was
know what
okay
they
with that.
are.
Okay. No strong feelings, apparently.
yeah.
I feel very strongly about it.
I got strong somewhere.
Strongly indifferent.
So, this is the Mach7 podcast number 15.
Straight.
I am Andrew. This week we have, yes, it's 15.
15 already.
I don't know what to do with him. This week we have Chris. Again, for the fourth week in a row. New record.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this makes me the most frequent person on here that's not you or Travis.
Yeah.
Get the hell out.
And Travis's streak just got broken, so, sucks to be him. Rachel's here.
Hello.
And Squiggles, what was it? Squiggles
McGee.
Squiggles McGee.
Hi, Squiggles McGee.
Also known as Michael is here. For the first time.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Enthusiasm!
Spectacular. So Travis isn't here because if you recall last week, he scratched his cornea.
What?
And
He did. It was fantastic.
so he went to the hospital,
And died?
got an eye patch, and,
Wait, he had an iPad?
and now he is sailing the seven seas. So
Oh, okay.
Okay.
searching
Okay.
for his fame and fortune.
Okay.
All right, I'm not sure where fiction started and
So
So he's
ended.
never going to return.
basically, he went full pirate, and you should never go full pirate.
So does that mean that
he
I get to keep Travis's seat forever?
Yeah.
Yes!
He's definitely not coming
Did he
back.
forget to pack oranges?
He might have. I warned him about it, but he's like, dude, scurvy, it's no big deal.
But you got to learn from that gangplank. Oranges fix everything.
Oh, yeah. Always do.
Okay. So Chris, you got something to talk about.
I do have
You're real anxious about it, so I'm gonna let you go first.
To talk about.
I have almost nothing
It
that's
involves
relevant.
me. I was just excited because this is like the first time I've actually had something to talk about.
Oh, good.
I mean,
There was that time you killed those two puppies, but we won't get into that.
Jesus.
they lived.
What did I miss? I missed a couple podcasts.
A couple.
Bastard.
You missed the last 3 in a row I was in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Did they all involve strangling puppies?
Yes, they did.
I did.
Strangling puppies. They did. You're right.
we moved from just. First I run into them and they're uninjured, and now I'm killing them.
Yeah.
And now
know
I'm
that.
strangling.
Chris, why? Why would you do
Chris, you
this?
sick bastard.
Chris,
How
what
could
do,
you?
What do you got to talk about?
Okay, so Borderlands pre-sequel came out
Uh-huh.
this week, and I tried to stream it on our wonderful thing.
Did it not work?
Well, to, immerse... It was my first time streaming something, so it took me like 15 minutes to figure out even how to do it.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And then I got it working, and I'm just not even going to like alt-tab out of the game to check out comments or whatever for, the 0 people that are watching.
Right. Well, you should have told us that you were streaming stuff. I would have watched.
So what ended up happening was...
And trolled you the entire time.
Twitch decided that there was like a third-party copyright infringement or something, and
good.
muted the entire stream. So
Well.
It was great because there were like 2 trial videos that I had to do, just figuring out what the hell was going on with the stream.
Yeah.
Then I got into the actual stream, so I had 3 videos, and I deleted all of them because
Nice.
none of them were worth anything.
Well,
Yep.
That's
So I can, however, talk about Borderlands pre-sequel.
I would
on the
love you
podcast.
to.
Okay.
I got some other video game stuff to talk about too after that. So
Anything in particular you want to know, or should I just go like on a rundown of everything?
I saw a post on Reddit that said it was not nearly as good as like Borderlands 1 or 2.
I disagree.
Okay.
First of all, it should be known that in comparison to Borderlands 2, I think the first Borderlands is kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I maintain after playing some of the pre-sequel that Borderlands 1 is kind of shit.
Okay.
So, I mean, I can kind of see where they're coming from, because I like all of the characters you can play as in Borderlands 2 much better.
Uh-huh.
All of the characters, as far as I can tell, are pretty blasé. I've done some playing as Wilhelm, and
Does he have a scream or?
he does.
Nice.
He doesn't.
Okay.
But there was an achievement in Borderlands 2 you got for killing him. Spoiler alert, if you play as Wilhelm, you're destined to die.
Well.
That's what happens in Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
So you should know this. They're all pretty standard. Wilhelm summons some like flying robot guys to help him.
Right.
One of them heals him. One of them kills stuff. So it's like a shitty version of Death Trap.
Yeah. What are their names? Like Wolf and something?
Wolf and Saint.
Saint, right.
Nisha, who is the sheriff from Borderlands 2. I haven't played as her yet, so I haven't gotten to use her action skill. But from what I saw from some of the media, it's pretty boring.
Spoiler, she also dies.
Yes, you kill her, actually. You kill both of them.
It's so much fun.
I hated the sheriff fight in Borderlands 2, but...
I've played some of Borderlands 2. I played like 30 hours of Borderlands 2, and I don't remember any of these characters. So I probably didn't play far enough.
Probably not.
The hardest part about that fight was trying not to kill the deputy.
What really pisses me off is the deputy still attacks you after you kill the sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
anyway.
you shot the sheriff.
But you didn't shoot the deputy. Yes, that is the joke. Anyway, back to the pre-sequel. Athena, her action skill is she has a shield that absorbs stuff.
Right.
And she throws it at people for damage, all Rygar style.
Yeah.
And she kind of looked interesting, and I was thinking of playing as her, but her builds are essentially good for multiplayer, melee, and good for multiplayer. So I kind of decided against that. I was actually really interested in Claptrap because he has the action skill that supposedly does random stuff.
Yup, it totally does.
It does, but it doesn't.
Oh, well.
Is
it like random but incredibly limited in how
well
actually is
from
random?
what I can I only got him up to like level 8 because that's when I decided to switch back to Wilhelm. What I did was, at midnight when it came out, I played for like 4 hours on Wilhelm, and then when I was going to do the stream, I wanted to start a new game so I could get the intro in and all of that stuff. And for the stream, I was going to play as Claptrap, because I thought it would be the most amusing. So I started a new game as Claptrap, so I actually have 2 games going. And it is random, and what happens is, the first time you get the action skill, there are 2 programs you can select from, and then it goes to 3 as you level up, and 4, etc., etc., etc. But the big issue I have with it is that the first 6 programs you get are just... they're essentially the action skills of the characters from Borderlands 2, except really bad. When you get, for the one that mimics Siren from Borderlands 2, you essentially just send out a robot that does some AoE, corrosive and fire damage. The one that's supposed to mimic Mechromancer, I don't even know what it does. You send out a robot and it kind of dances there.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I saw that one.
So, my idea of Borderlands 2 is apparently different from what it actually is.
You mean Destiny?
Question mark?
Yeah. Is it not a first-person roaming?
It is a first...
is.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
It is.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there's also a multiplayer aspect.
Yep.
Yeah.
There can be a multiplayer
That also
aspect.
sounds a little bit like kind of a Fire Emblem / strategic thing where you build characters and send them out.
Not at all.
No.
You can select like perks when you level up and stuff.
Yeah,
Sort of
you
thing,
have a
but-
talent tree like you do in most RPGs. And some of the talents you get are more beneficial if you have multiple people in your party.
Yeah.
It's not like kind of a Fire Emblem strategic thing.
Okay.
It's like, okay, you're each an individual person in the first-person shooter free roaming, and it's just beneficial to, stay together and all shoot stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like a squad-based first-person shooter if
okay.
you involve multiple people.
There's a zombie game like that, isn't there?
Left 4 Dead.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yes.
Similar in style, but Left 4 Dead doesn't have like leveling up and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
The Mechromancer one is just bad. It like shoots bullets, but it has the anarchy stacks or whatever. The Gunzerker one is actually really fun. What it does is instead of taking your 2 weapons you have equipped, it takes your main hand weapon and copies it, and then makes it so you cannot stop firing.
Oh, yeah.
And as a bonus for having Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 1, you start out the game with a blue Hyperion shotgun. So
Jesus.
The first time I got the Gunzerker one, I'm sitting here with 2 shotguns that have like 3 shots a second as their fire rate, just killing everything.
That's incredible.
And then everything stopped, died in like 3 seconds, and I couldn't stop firing. It was wonderful. The fun zerking is what that one's called. That one's actually pretty great. The Axton one, you throw out a robot and it's a turret.
Right.
It's pretty boring.
Pretty simple.
It's probably about as good as this. I'd actually say it's actually better than Axton's turret because it fires rockets right from the get-go.
Oh, good.
But what really pisses me off is the Krieg one because it makes it so you can only do melee and you get increased melee boost, but you don't get any of Krieg's run speed. You can't throw the axe like Krieg, and your attack speed is about as half as much as Krieg's.
Well,
so you're pretty much just boned.
There's some that are good, some that aren't.
The 0-1 makes you invisible and people target different people. And those are the first 6 ones you get. And it's not even like there's an equal chance to get all of them. I've found that you're more likely to get the Psycho and the Siren one than you are any of the other ones. I did get into some of the unique programs for it. Like, there's one called Rubber Ducky, where you get a duck inner tube and it forces you to jump around all over the place. So you just get to slam kill everything, which is something that I find really fun, which I'll talk about later. What really annoyed me, though, was one of Claptrap's big draws or whatever was supposed to be his subroutine skill tree, where every so often you activate a subroutine, which like empowers one element of you, but damages all of the other stuff.
Wow.
Like if you activate the pistol subroutine, your pistols are now godlike, but the rest of your guns are kind of trash. And it was supposed to make it like really reactive, fun gameplay, and mostly it was just annoying.
Well, but
so,
I mean, the best part of Claptrap is that you don't need oxygen, so
Yeah.
clearly he's the best.
No.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely.
No.
Yeah, I think so.
Oxygen is not a problem.
Also, you're like, you actually see from like Claptrap's point of view, so if there's like a box up on a shelf, you cannot like get to it.
It's true.
Because
you have to jump to get to some of the objectives that you normally
pretty
would.
funny.
Alternatively, though, you don't have to crouch to get to other ones.
That's true.
So,
I guess there's a trade-off.
So yeah, Claptrap was fun for the first 4 levels, and then it kind of lost its novelty.
Well,
but
I don't know why, but this mention of talking about oxygen makes me think of those tests they did where they actually found a liquid with enough oxygen concentration that you could actually breathe under it.
And they had Ed Harris try and do it for a movie, and he almost drowned in it.
Oh my god.
what movie?
I didn't hear about
I don't
that.
remember.
No. I'll just Google Ed Harris. I'm sure it'll come up.
But yeah, so people have some point in that the characters are not as cool.
Yeah.
And the skill trees aren't as cool as the ones from Borderlands 2. But I like from what I can tell, they rebalanced the mechanics, and the new mechanics they added are really fun. The 2 things that they added that are pretty big are the cryo element, which freezes things, the jetpack kind of thing, and the rocket slam. And cryo element is broken beyond all reason because
I thought you said 2 things. That was 3 things.
It was 3 things. I lied.
I don't know how
You
I
dirty,
can't handle
dirty
this.
liar. How could you?
Cryo is super broken because it freezes people in place and it starts asphyxiating them. And if they're at low enough health, if you melee them, they auto die.
They just shatter.
There's actually a mechanic with Wilhelm where you can get an explosive punch melee override that you can one-shot badasses if you freeze them and then explosive punch them, and it's pretty spectacular. Jumping around is kind of fun. It lets you explore the areas more because you get a double jump with the jetpack and you have lowered gravity, so it makes exploration more fun, and it makes it so you can have more interesting level designs. There are a couple of times where they kind of abuse it to the point where it's a little bit annoying, but jetpack lets you do that I really love is the rocket slam,
right?
Where if you crouch in the middle of the air, you slam down to the ground and do AoE damage around you, and it does proportionally more damage the higher up you are. And
as you do.
Early on in the game, you have the option to get this shotgun, where it's one of the special ones where it shoots special bullets.
Uh-huh.
And instead of shooting like pellets like a normal shotgun, it essentially shoots 2 cryo grenades.
Jesus.
So you can use the shotgun on a group of people, have them all freeze, and then jump up in the air and smash them. And the smash acts like the melee attack and shatters them. And it is hilariously
It's
great.
like as OP as Vanguard in Mass Effect 3.
I think they actually might have upped the difficulty of some of the enemies to compensate for that. Like, the turret things you have to fight are freaking... Like, as a level 13 person, I have like 1,000 HP, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The turrets shoot rockets at you and have like 7,000 HP, I swear to God. And recharging shields, it's awful.
Right.
And I can't get a good corrosive weapon. So I think they've upped the difficulty there. They've also had some rebalancing with like the drop system and money drops so far as I can tell. Boss characters are now much more likely to drop their special blue items, and you're more likely to get blue items from like quest drops, but you don't get shit for money now. So you can't just go and buy all of your purples and everything you resell. Like, I bought something from a vending machine for 8K because it was really great. And then I got something better, and I sold it back to the same vending machine for like $200.
Jesus.
So,
Man, the economy on the moon is not that good.
also everybody on the moon has Australian accents. So that's
Oh, of course. Why wouldn't they? Makes perfect sense.
So, that's rebalanced there. What I find really interesting is the new vehicles they have. They have the Moon Rover and the Stingray, which is a hover bike.
Nice.
And y'all know how awful the vehicle handling in the other 2 Borderlands was, right?
It was pretty not okay.
How it was like impossible to handle the vehicles. The Moon Rover somehow manages to handle worse than the other Borderlands vehicles.
On a scale of 1 to Mako, how bad is it?
It exceeds Mako.
No way.
Yeah.
I can totally believe that Mako's not that bad.
Like,
Okay, when you say Mako, who are you talking about?
Mass
Mako
Effect.
as in
Mass Effect.
the vehicle they get
like
in the first Mass
the
Effect.
first
right?
time you get the Moon Rover, you have to do a jump over a chasm, because that's how you do in Borderlands.
Yeah.
In the other 2 Borderlands, if you miss the jump, everything was okay. In this one, you die if you miss the jump.
Nice.
And
shit.
you have to go down a straightaway that has like rocky divots all over the place. So I'm like, it's okay. I'm in a Borderlands vehicle, so it handles horribly, but the straightaways, it usually has some kind of shock system that doesn't do it. So I'm charging down this straightaway in the Moon Rover. Nope. Hit a bump, spin out, crash into the side of a cliff, die. I proceed to be like, okay, I can't speed through this, so I'll have to get closer to the ramp, take it slow, and go straight like that. Nope, not enough speed. Crash into the cliff and die. I proceed to crash into the cliff and die 5 times because the controls are so bad.
It's so infuriating.
The Moon Rover is like the worst thing. That's something I'm sad that I had to take the stream down for, because it was part of the stream. We just continuously
You
died.
just left it all up.
It was muted. There was no sound. However, the hover bike is the first vehicle I've ever had in Borderlands that is fun to use.
Nice.
It handles like a normal vehicle. It has good weapons, and you can glide places on it. And
So-
it is spectacular.
This game has jetpacks and hover bikes, like instant 10 out of 10, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's Borderlands 2 in space with better mechanics but shittier characters. That's another thing. I really don't like the main characters that you can play as in Borderlands, the pre-sequel, as much, but I like the supporting cast a lot more.
Right.
Except for, I still don't like Moxie, but
I mean, who does?
a lot of people.
Well,
but
they're wrong.
they are.
I have no opinion on Moxie, so
Like,
whatever.
your freaking quest giver is a lot less annoying. Like, you know how there was Scooter in the other games, right?
Catch a ride.
And now you have Scooter's female counterpart, who's, not annoying beyond all reason. And the enemies are more interesting, especially because it's really great to hear the maniacs jabber on in an Australian accent now. And the enemies are more varied. Like, with the other Borderlands, If you fight one human enemy, every other human enemy is pretty much just a rehash of that one, right? But now there are ones that are like in different space suits, and the space suits have different weak points and stuff, and they all behave differently. And your enemies have jetpacks and slams. And it's pretty great.
Sounds pretty great.
I disagree that it is worse than the other two. I would actually say so far that it's probably better. It just has worse people to play as.
Right.
So if you can get past the fact that, every person you play will either be annoying or as boring to play as Axton, then you're good to go.
I wish I remembered what they actually said in that thread, but now I don't. And I'm not going to bother looking it up, so.
Well, ever since they released Borderlands, the pre-sequel, that they spoiled that it was going to happen, people have been pissy about it.
Yeah, of course.
So.
People are never happy on the internet.
I don't know. I really like everything that they've added with the moon physics and stuff. The space environment really does add a lot to it. There are Lovecraftian horrors that are a common enemy that you get to shoot down with cryo rockets, and it's pretty
Fantastic.
great.
I'm excited to go play.
That's another great thing, is if you freeze somebody while they're in midair and they fall, they take massive damage.
Of course, why wouldn't they? It just makes sense.
Because it's great to just be like, hey, there's a badass in the sky. Cryo round.
Shoot him down.
They freeze and they fall to the ground. Almost full health. Shatter. It's spectacular.
So what you're telling me I should do when I finally go play this is to go through as Wilhelm, use cryo weapons only, and just robo-punch everyone.
Well, no, Claptrap is what we're telling you.
The issue with Wilhelm that I've found is he kind of suffers the same issue with Salvador, where it's more fun to go through his pure damage tree, but until you have better equipment and are higher level, you really need to put a lot of points into the tank tree in order to be able to do stuff. I got pretty far down in the damage tree, the one that gives you your robo augmentations like the exploding punch. And there's one that gives you robot legs that makes it so you can shoot while you're sprinting. And it's great because I can one-shot all of these guys and I can deal massive damage, but I also take hits like tissue paper, which when you're playing single player really isn't a thing you can deal with.
No. It can be tough.
Another great thing about Wilhelm is you start out with a head that gives you a little beanie with a poof ball. So you're this big badass with a beard and you're all muscular.
Are you talking about a Waldo hat?
Yeah.
I don't know what that name of hat is, but the first person I thought of was
beanie.
Waldo.
It's a stocking cap.
Or a toque.
A knit cap.
A pom hat. A pom-pom hat.
Some Nordic beanies have it. There's a specific Peruvian version of the Nordic beanie that I can't remember the name of that's made out of alpaca fur that has it.
Alpacas.
I remember the Nordic beanie in Skyrim. It was pretty good. The best piece of equipment.
It was. It gave you all the cold resistance.
Yeah.
I had this lovely pair of gloves that I got while I was in Peru.
You were in Peru?
Yeah, I've been to Peru.
I must have missed the Peru region in Skyrim.
What?
That just made it so much funnier. All right, so you were in Peru. Tell us about it.
Yeah.
Tell us the best story that came out of Peru.
Was there an alpaca? Did
Yes.
you ride it?
No.
Did you wield a sword? Oh. never mind.
Okay, so there was this petting zoo that I'm pretty sure I either got scammed at or the alpacas ate my gloves.
The alpacas probably ate your gloves.
There's probably probably humans ate your gloves, and then the alpacas are the ones that scammed you.
Yeah.
Have you seen the alpacas in Animal Crossing? They're vicious.
Have
Terrifying.
you seen the alpacas in
Not gonna lie,
Skyrim?
never
I
played
die
Animal
every
Crossing.
time.
Oh, yeah.
Are the alpacas in Skyrim the super boss?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Alduin is the weakest alpaca.
Right. Okay.
yeah, but basically up the road, before we got to the petting zoo, bought one of the nicest pair of gloves I have ever seen for only like 5. What is the currency?
Peru's.
Pesos?
There we go, pesos. Yes.
Well, I was close.
Wait,
No, is it pesos?
Pesos are in Mexico.
Yeah.
I thought pesos were like antiquated at this point in time.
No,
Maybe.
Dang it. Well, I don't remember the currency, but
For a small amount of currency.
yeah,
For like 6 Perus.
For a very small amount of currency, I was able to buy a very good pair of gloves. They were super warm, they were super soft, made of alpaca fur. Then went up the road, got to the petting zoo. I took them off because they were way too warm, and we were there in the middle of summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember setting them down. Never pocketed them, never gave them to anyone. They just weren't in my hands when we got out of the petting zoo.
The alpacas, it was made out of alpaca fur, so they were just reclaiming what was theirs.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It was a dominance thing.
Yeah, I went back, looked for them, never found them. I ended up buying another pair. They are absolutely awful. In fact, once I bought them really quick. Later looked at them. They were a pair of left gloves.
Get faced, Michael. You bought 2 left gloves.
Maybe you were scammed.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think so.
you just have that air about you.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're telling me is the first group of the first pair of gloves were like magical, right?
They were.
Did you
super
lose the
awesome.
magical gloves and you had to buy like the crappy version that were just normal?
Yeah.
It's a rookie mistake.
It's why you gotta put those gloves of plus 25 alchemy into your safety deposit box.
He's right.
They had cold resistant 10.
Build a house, build a basement in the house, build 6 saves in the basement, and put each glove in a different safe. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys play D&D?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
You?
I do.
Oh. All right.
In fact, I'm running 2 campaigns at the moment. One for my sister and one for just about everyone in the
That's
hall.
right, because you have the really screwy one where you campaigns are
Right, because everything is
Intercontinuity,
in
timey-wimey.
the same continent and in the same year, to the point where I actually made a calendar to figure out what day they're on, so that
What day are they on?
I believe my sister is still in May and they are in the middle of August.
Oh.
So
no,
your
no one's
sister's
on.
kind of slow.
No, it's not summertime, so we're not. So I'm here, which is 11 hours away from her. So
Through
it's
the magic of Skype.
yes.
Shout out to Skype. Please
Yes,
give us
Skype.
money.
I do recommend it. It is an incredible way to get in touch with people.
We're not actually
TeamSpeak.
sponsored by Skype. So.
Nudge, nudge, hint, hint.
I heard about a guy.
Executives at Skype, if you're interested in giving us a sponsorship.
Well, we do an online campaign, and we have not started back up yet because our DM was really busy over the summer. Now we're all just busy with stuff, so
So is that on hold?
it's on hold. We don't
Indefinitely.
use Skype. We use TeamSpeak instead.
You don't use Ventrilo?
I used
that
to
still a
use
thing?
Ventrilo. I don't know. Yeah, I have a 3-5 group up here.
Over the summer, we were supposed to
Either
start
TeamSpeak
a...
or Ventrilo, one of the two. I don't remember.
Ventrilo is superior to TeamSpeak.
It was on my old laptop, which I no longer have because it bricked.
It braked.
It bricked.
How'd it break?
So.
Did the power jack get
Oh no!
shoved into its
Actually,
own
it was
rectum?
my operating system. I had to.
That's not nearly as interesting as mine.
I have to reboot up the operating system, but in doing that, I lose everything. And I didn't realize that it was the operating system until I already got my new laptop on order, which Origin gaming laptop, absolutely amazing.
Yeah. No, it's probably way better than whatever it is you had.
It is.
There you go.
So,
So what else? Anything?
Well, we're talking about D&D, and it sounded like Michael had something to specifically say about it.
Oh, yeah. Over the summer, a friend of mine, Mark, was supposed to DM for a campaign in Pathfinder. Just he was pretty busy over the summer, so it just didn't happen. Now I kind of wish I had taken over as DM because Pathfinder is pretty fun.
Never played Pathfinder.
It's basically 3.6, and
Yeah.
I might get some flack for that.
Well, I've heard that it takes the 3.5 thing and it alters some stuff. It definitely sounds like the gap between 3.5 and 4.0.
It's looking over it, it's basically they made some modifications to 3.5. I agree with a lot of the modifications, especially the monk, who doesn't suck as hard as he does in 3.5.
Monks don't suck in 3.5 after, like, level 10.
Okay. First off, no, at level 20, they get, like, at level 20, the feat that they get can be easily replaced by a level 1 or level 0 wizard spell.
That's why you don't take monk to 20. What you do is you take monk to 10 and you prestige into drunken master. Because then you deal 1d10 unarmed damage plus 1d12 improvised weapon damage, and you do more than a greatsword by beating people with a piece of stale dwarven bread.
See, but that's my point. You can't just like solo class.
Oh God, no!
I
3.5.
So you know that rule where we have to take calls if someone calls us on the podcast?
Oh shit.
Who is it?
You'll
We
see.
do.
Yeah. Hello? No, you're not going to say anything? All right, thanks.
Oh, am I on?
Yes, you're on.
Is this Travis?
Oh,
No.
hello. Long-time listener, first-time caller. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good. So what have you guys been talking about so far?
Absolutely nothing. Spice us up a little bit.
Who
Did
is
you
this?
guys talk about Halo? I mean, no one's going to talk about Halo in the show, so...
I didn't understand anything you just said. We're not going to talk about Halo.
Let's talk about Halo.
No.
The new one's about to come out in like...
You know, part of the rule is you are allowed to hang up at any time.
That's a good point. All right, no, don't hang up. Hang on.
Shut up, Chris.
No, Rachel, please stop. Okay, yeah, no, we're not going to talk about Halo, but thanks for the call.
That is Travis, you lying
have-
bastard.
That is Travis.
Get out of here.
Have fun on your pirate ship. Bye.
So I just heard, first time, what did he say? Like,
First time listener, first time
caller.
caller.
I was just like, wait,
Screwed
what? How famous are we?
Dude, super famous. All right,
To the
so,
point that we're not even streaming live and they know when we record these.
I know,
listening to
weird,
Car Talk.
right?
But anyway,
We're
in
clicking clack the
D&D,
tap, brothers.
I mean, half of the classes I feel aren't worth playing unless you prestige into them. Unless you prestige into
Yeah,
something
but you
else.
can still, like, solo class wizard and be fine. Or solo...
Travis, stop calling us.
Hello?
You just
No,
just hung up on him.
no.
Get faced.
Internet punch!
Oh, God. All right, that just saved this podcast. All right,
Yeah,
keep going.
but I don't like wizards in 3.5 because I think sorcerers are strictly better, but
Yeah, but you run into that block where you can't learn new things and you can't teach things.
I don't care. You only need a few spells, and spontaneous casting and more spells per day is infinitely better. That's why I also think War Mage is better than Sorcerer, because you get all of the offensive spells, and when it comes down to it, you can have your Rogue do all of the skill stuff, and you can just sit around and be like, Flaming Sphere! Flaming Sphere! I mean, Flaming Sphere is a bad example, because it's not as great as I used to think it was, but...
Actually, in the campaign that I'm running, one of my players is doing a sorcerer that is not going to have any damage spells.
So why didn't they just play a Beguiler?
A what?
A Beguiler. It's a base class from Player's Handbook 2. It's a sorcerer without any damage spells.
Oh. Well, I'll have to tell him about that. He probably would jump at it immediately. Actually, wait, I bet he's seen that. He helped one of the other players take Duskblade.
Yeah, what they do is they use mind magic and that kind of stuff to control. They're a controller as opposed to a striker.
He is a straight-up bluffer. He bluffs in just about every conversation. With the team or... Oh my gosh. The amounts of trickery that go on between the teammates and bluffs and sense motives that are getting thrown around.
Just please tell me you don't have a paladin.
No paladin on this
Good.
team.
Almost all of the paladins I've run into are such buzzkills.
It's weird. I don't know why people play them like that.
I don't know why either. When I play a paladin, I tend to... You see, there's this issue where most people play a paladin more on the lawful side than the good side. But once you get to the lawful side, you have letter of the law versus spirit of the law.
Right.
And a lot of the paladins I know play letter of the law as opposed to spirit of the law.
Right, and that's not how I play it.
I mean, how I try to play paladins is I play the retribution paladin.
But then again, I don't play paladin. I play force adept.
I don't play paladin either. If I were to play something like that, I'd play a crusader. But
That was a Star Wars shout out.
it was a Star Wars shout out.
Dude, move object. It's the best skill. You don't need force strike when you can take a ship and you can throw it at another ship.
That is true.
Who cares if the will save or the will save is crap? You don't need to throw a person. You need to throw the ship they're standing on.
I mean, it's like improvised weapons. It's like, except better,
Exactly.
because I don't need force strike. Hey, we're in a cargo bay. I pick up some cargo. It smashes into your face. Cargo auto fails will saves.
Speaking of hitting people with inanimate objects, I love that in the 3.5 the spell description for Iron Wall, there's specifically the rule set for how to use it as a pancake maker.
Yep.
Just all right, so if you build the wall about this tall, then it takes about this much DC strength check in order to push the wall, and then any person that's caught in the line of the wall has to make a reflex save or they're flattened.
Save. Reflex save. If you fail, save versus death.
Because you just know someone came up with that idea and they used it enough times that they eventually just made it an official rule.
It's my favorite thing that happens in D&D campaigns whenever somebody's just and then you save versus death.
Save or die!
I've been listening to this conversation for about 10 minutes and I don't understand anything that just happened.
Yeah.
Ooh, wizards, squishy, squishy.
There were so many
Boom,
words that were
boom.
I recognize that word. How does it fit into this sentence?
I don't know. I'm a little bit of a whore when it comes to making my characters. I either make them super goofy, I want to make a warforged druid.
Okay.
Wizards thought of this. There is actually a feat in the Eberron campaign settings where instead of taking your natural iron armor as a warforged, your first level feat can instead be ironwood plating, which lets you use druid spells. So I want to be a shapeshifter focused warforged druid that turns into a giant robot bear to kill people.
Oh my god. Just stomping around as a giant freaking mech T-Rex.
I mean, it's the greatest thing with Warforged, just throwing random classes onto them and thinking of an excuse for it. As a Warforged Dragon Shaman, what is my excuse for spontaneously growing wings at 19th level? Why can I suddenly spit fire at people? I am a robot. Does not compute. Warforged are robots.
Oh, I got it. Okay, cool.
Like a semi-alive golem.
I don't understand anything that's been happening. I'm so confused.
It's pretty great.
Guys, I'm lost and I can't get up.
We're doing
Not
one of the
following
campaigns we're doing right now is based off of Dark Souls, and we started at 3rd level, but our DM was stupid and let us use races with level adjustment.
Oh god.
So, I mean, we adjust so, none of us are actually 3rd level except for our Goblin Mystic.
Someone hit a goblin?
Somebody played a Goblin.
Alright.
Christ, I have to... So, our party is a Bugbear Monk. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a level 2 monk. We have a Minotaur Barbarian, which was the worst idea ever because the DM letting him play it was the worst idea ever because as a first level barbarian, he has a plus 15 base attack bonus.
What?
You get plus 8 for being a Minotaur, and then you get plus 1 from being a first level barbarian, and then his strength is almost 30 because he's a Minotaur. And then we have a Succubus, who I don't remember what their class is. I think they're using the weird Wild Races book, which lets you take creatures as class levels instead.
That sounds cool.
It essentially unbreaks using monstrous humanoids in 3.5. We have a Grimlock Barbarian. So he's essentially a Murloc, except human-sized. We have a Goat Folk fighter cleric.
All right.
And we have
It's a good combination, fighter and cleric.
And we have a goblin mystic. And so far what's been going on is the goblin mystic can't stand being on his own, right? Because it's Dark Souls and he's a goblin, so he has like 3 health. So we have him riding around on my shoulders. And we found a piece of medium padded armor. The only person it was useful to was our mystic, but it was medium. So he got around it by wearing the chest piece as a dress, and he's wearing the pants on his head as a hat. So you have a bugbear monk running around with a goblin mystic who's waving a, like, wooden stick that's a tiny-sized great club because I splintered a door down or something and it produced one. He's wearing pants on his head. And we're on the front lines, and the Minotaur is standing behind us because he has reach, because he's large size, and just conking everybody on the head from behind us. And it was so great. So we set up the map, and we have all of our clear characters placed on the map. And the first thing our DM asks us is, okay, does anybody here have dark vision? And we all raise our hands.
Well, yeah, you're all playing like monster classes or monstrous humanoids.
But let me rephrase. We didn't all have dark vision, but our Grimlock has blind sight 40 feet. So, yeah. That wasn't really going anywhere other than some parts of it were funny. But
I like the part where the guy had the pants on his head. All right, so is that
To
over
all of
now?
our D&D fans out there,
It's not over yet.
hope you enjoyed that.
I mean, the only other thing I have to contribute about D&D is in our more serious campaign, my current character is a female petite half-elf bard, which many people find amusing.
Seems pretty typical. Why is that amusing?
Well, because I'm me.
Oh.
And I usually play characters that are closer to, 7 foot tall, 400-pound bugbear monk.
So me then. I got you.
You weigh 400 pounds?
You'd be surprised.
Holy balls, we got the Wolverine over here.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I think about it, he'd be really heavy, wouldn't he, Wolverine? Or having like an adamantine skeleton.
Yes. They addressed that in one of the movies,
Can
but
he
it was
swim?
Maybe. Probably not.
That'd be an interesting weakness. He'd be like Stitch.
Well,
Except they can't drown. So.
it depends on, what the buoyancy of adamantium is.
Well,
we don't really know its
Speaking
density.
as someone who just
so-
had a steel beam in his chest, it fucks with your buoyancy.
But
Yeah, but that's not adamantium, though.
we know, the density and buoyancy of steel,
Right.
but we don't know it for adamantium since it doesn't actually exist.
True.
The assumption is he's very heavy.
All right.
Seems legit.
Now is the time where I move us along a little bit? Or
I don't know, do you want to?
I just,
I guess. I don't know.
Rachel, you got anything to talk about? You've had 40 minutes to think, so.
I was saying I am.
Has
While
it
they were
been
talking about
40
D&D.
minutes?
What?
Has it been 40 minutes?
Yeah, it's been 40 minutes.
Holy balls.
So
So is that a no? Or?
this October has been kind of crazy for television.
Has it though?
'Cause- Or at least
Brooklyn
it's been-
Nine-Nine came back.
It's been a little crazy for me because everything decided to come off hiatus on the first week. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is back up. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is back in full swing. Log Horizon is now on its second season. Legend of Korra is on its last season. Steven Universe has gotten pretty darn dark.
Steven Universe like Stephen Strange?
No.
Oh.
Or
No, imagine like pastel-colored liches
What?
who pretend, at least this is the theory that I have. They're practically liches because they have a phylactery that if it's destroyed, they're destroyed, and they can regenerate from it. They have superhuman powers, and they constantly use their magic to either create living constructs or capture other crystalline creatures, or apparently take other living beings, crystal living beings, and enslave them as magical objects. Except they're the protagonists.
Do they have the whole, rotting flesh thing going on?
No, they're crystals.
Okay, not a lich then, because it's not an undead.
So? It's basically everything else that is, the lore of a lich.
Yes, but a very important component of a lich is that they're undead. I agree that it's an apt comparison, but that does not make them liches. It's like saying that something can be like a zombie without being undead. I mean, it can, because voodoo zombies and, Justin Bieber fans, but...
do you know of any show, do you have any favorite shows where the main characters that you followed for a season or two actually turned out to be, the villains?
Sort of?
Give the example, or...
Well, in Supernatural, eventually bad stuff happens, and one of the protagonists, spoiler alert, they turn into, a demon.
That's not what I mean. That's possession or something like that.
No, they turn into a demon. They're not possessed. They become a demon.
Oh.
Because in the universe, demons aren't, a separate entity. They're almost
No, I've seen Supernatural.
Okay.
No, but I mean, So, but at the beginning of the season, if the events had happened, they probably wouldn't have become a demon, right? Was that their choice?
It has to do with the Mark of Cain. So yes, it was their choice.
Okay, but in the first couple seasons, they probably wouldn't have made that choice, right?
Almost certainly not.
Right. I'm talking about a show where from the beginning you thought they were good, except they've been hiding a darker nature the entire time.
So it's a couple of things that happen in some of the Tales games.
Maybe? I've never heard of those.
Like Tales of Symphonia and Tales of the Abyss and stuff. Okay.
Sorry.
They're JRPGs, so...
Yeah, but I've talked about a show that could do that, but I've never actually seen it done. I've never seen it done, let alone done well. But holy shoot, did Steven Universe do it well. They just went from kind of a creative... it just puts everything into paranoia and uncertainty. Suddenly all of their quirkiness for not understanding human culture, suddenly you have a different perspective on it. It's do they not understand human culture, or are they just sociopaths?
The real question is Steven Universe as cool as Steven Seagal?
I don't know. Well, okay, I've heard of Steven Seagal.
It was a joke.
Okay, but
they're probably cooler than Steven Seagal.
So last week, the people that I live with decided to get really drunk, and so I drove them to Walmart.
Dude, I love getting really drunk and then getting driven to Walmart.
Yeah. So they wanted to go to the movie section and get those bundles of because there's a $5 bin.
Did they buy a bundle of Steven Seagal movies?
And not just that. So they were looking for these bundles that are 10 movies in one box. So it's just $5 for 10 movies or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they found one that was 15 movies, part of which were Steven Seagal movies and part of which were Chuck Norris movies, which was something. I don't know if they've watched any of them yet. And then they bought one that was 10 fantasy adventures or something, where most of them were Asylum productions, which are the joke D movies of popular actual movies.
Oh, okay.
And they had another one. They had 15 horror movies or something. It was ridiculous. This guy spent $30 on 4,000 movies.
Seems like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Although, paying any money for a Chuck Norris movie really isn't really a good deal.
But they're also Steven Seagal movies, so what can you do?
Yeah, but
isn't he a cop or something somewhere?
In a lot of movies.
But an actual cop?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm thinking of Shaquille O'Neal. It's possible.
Okay, well that blew over my head. Shaquille O'Neal, or was a cop, or is a cop?
Yeah, no,
Wait, is he?
Yeah, he's
what?
a certified police officer in Miami.
Oh, okay.
Fact.
Legitimately,
Yeah.
you're not like
You guys remind me that I
What?
have to get out more.
It's hard to tell sometimes whether or not you're being sarcastic.
I might need to do some fact checking, but I'm pretty sure that's actually accurate.
All right.
Are you sure you're just not confusing this with the storyline of Shaq Fu?
Good game. Maybe. That's
No,
also possible.
Not a good game.
Dude, they crowdfunded a new Shaq Fu game.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking
It's
of
coming.
funding,
And this is why Kickstarter is like the downfall of humanity.
there's one game that's coming out. What was it called? Like the Black Glove.
Star
That's-
Citizen. Oh.
That's being worked on by creators of Bioshock and Bioshock Infinite. And I'm really excited for this.
I was unaware that
No-
Bioshock Infinite
no
was a
weapons.
Bioshock game.
Good one.
So from what I've gathered from this game, effectively you have no weapons and you're just going around farting around with reality and time
Farting
itself.
reality?
Just like you're goofing
So like
around.
you fart and then
like
you change
you're-
reality?
You
Changing
are a
event-
god.
That would be the greatest game of all time.
You're changing different things with reality, like you're changing different events.
By farting.
No, but just by doing different things.
Shout out to Methane.
And you go through and play these different arcade games, and it is what, like I said, what I've gathered from it so
Then you
far.
fart on them to mark your dominance. So that other people
I
don't
can
go
actually
play
think
them.
of a.
No,
think-
I use
actually think
farting
of, like, a
around
Flash
as a
game.
term for goofing off.
Oh, I do too. But this is funnier, so.
I use the term dicking around because
Goofing around, yucking around,
Monkeying about.
screwing
about.
around,
participating in
Don't.
shenanigans.
Did you just bring up squirrels? Don't bring up squirrels.
squirreling around.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't.
Don't.
I mean, it's too late now, but because I brought it up, but just don't do
God
it.
damn it. Why'd you do that?
Because Squirrel Girl's
Here we
pretty
go.
great, right?
God
Jesus
damn
Christ.
it.
Don't you have like some puppies to strangle or something?
Yeah, he
No,
probably does somewhere.
I have some puppies to run over. Get it
But the
right.
thing is,
I
I
don't
actually
recognize
know
that
who
person.
Squirrel Girl is.
Abby does too.
Finally.
It blew my mind that Abby knew who Squirrel Girl was.
she's like
I don't either. I don't know who
best-
Squirrels are.
I
Is she an
hate
character.
Is she an Avenger yet?
Great
She
Lakes
should
Avenger.
be.
she was a Great Lakes Avenger, and she has been an honorary Avenger. I believe her current place in the Marvel Universe is she babysits for the Wolverine or something.
So there's different Avengers.
By the way, Squirrel Girl
Don't get him started.
totally beat
mean-
Wolverine in a fight.
I'm
Isn't
just
it
asking,
like-
so there's different groups of Avengers.
How many squirrels
Yes.
are in the United
Okay.
States?
Don't talk anymore about
Is
it.
there a range to how many squirrels she can influence?
All I know is that when Wolverine tried to stab her in the back because she beat him, she summoned like 500,000 squirrels, and they stopped the Wolverine from attacking Squirrel Girl.
I don't.
I can't. I don't.
Can't
Why?
stop.
We're not staying on this topic.
But I'm in Travis's seat. I have a right to talk.
No,
God
you don't have any
damn it.
right. You hung up on him. He's real mad at you, by the way.
Did you get a text?
I got a couple texts. It's fine. He's real salty.
Maybe he fell overboard.
Wasn't Salty Cast a couple weeks ago, though?
So it's just gonna be like Return of Squirrel Girl podcast.
Such a good joke. No, absolutely not. We're getting off this topic. So, Rachel, I know you play Dragon Age. Do you
Yeah.
play Dragon Age?
Played Mass Effect, which is Dragon Age in space.
Love Dragon Age. I actually have Inquisition on pre-order, and like most games, I pre-order, and most games I look forward to playing. I avoid everything
Yeah.
about them. I avoid hearing anything about them. So when my roommate was like, "Oh my gosh, you can fly to individual routes," and
An Omega Red?
yeah, and
Or
Omega Red,
Ruby?
Ruby,
I'd
Wait,
rather...
what?
and
We're talking
Omega
about Pokemon?
and
What?
Omega
Yeah,
Ruby,
somehow we got to Pokemon.
and Alpha Sapphire, which actually I'm getting.
Oh,
I'm
Ross,
really
yeah.
excited.
I wish I could fly to individual
So
groups.
so she's talking about this, and I'm just like,
Shut
God damn it, Becca, shut up!
Do you think Tropius is gonna get a Mega Evolution?
I don't know.
He-
Shut up!
He
I don't
already
want to
is a
hear
Mega
this.
Evolution, so it's fine.
Who?
Tropius.
Is that like
The banana
Grass
tree
flying.
the
Pokemon.
TV tropes Pokemon?
Yes, it is, actually.
But yeah, I
Tropius.
So I guess I shouldn't talk about all the new news that came out for Inquisition then.
Do
Yeah.
it.
Is that
Do
right?
it
no,
now.
but talking about Dragon Age, honestly, I have Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, which I have not played.
You
I'm
should
looking
absolutely play
at
it.
getting it for the computer because all my stuff is on the computer. So it's like,
Actually,
and
you
I'm getting
could.
Inquisition
Okay.
for the computer. So it's like,
Do you know about Dragon Age Keep?
no.
Okay. So I got into the closed beta for Dragon Age Keep. This is why I bring it up. I can't talk a lot about it because I signed an NDA, so I could get in trouble. So Dragon Age Keep is basically like
Dragon Age in a keep?
Yeah. You can so it's like an online thing where you go through all the decisions, like the major decisions in each of the games, and you can, choose what you want the outcome to be. And then you can import that save into Inquisition.
Okay.
So it kind of you should absolutely still play Dragon Age 2 because while it has its issues, it's actually still pretty fun.
You should probably get the Dragon Age games.
You should, they're fun.
It's a lot of fun.
It's kind of what was I going? What was I saying? I don't remember.
Dragon Age Keep.
Yeah.
Non-disclosure agreement.
Right. But it's
choices.
It's pretty cool, and I enjoy it.
But yeah, so I gotta get Dragon Age 2 for the computer then.
But the great thing is that if you can if you were to get Inquisition for the Xbox One, for instance, but you had your other save data on the PC, then you could just use Dragon Age Keep to make all the same decisions, and then you can import that to the Xbox One version.
Okay.
So
I feel that everybody who plays Dragon Age Inquisition is obligated to do it on the Spanish setting.
Because why would you expect that though?
Every time I play Age of Empires,
because nobody
as
expects
Spanish, I always go in with
the joke was Dragon
hundreds
Age
of
Spanish
swordsmen.
Inquisition, so
because no one expects me at the last moment to come barreling in with 300 to 500 swordsmen, just wiping everything out.
Zerg Rush.
Wait, what happened?
I killed 300 to 500 swordsmen.
I always play Spanish, the Spaniards, in Age of Empires 2
All the ones.
and Age of Empires 3, so nobody expects Spanish Inquisition.
With this
I thought you were still talking about Dragon Age. I was really confused. I was like, when is there ever 300 to 400 soldiers in one place?
Hacked the game.
Besides Ostagar, because that's a cutscene, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, Dragon Age is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Totes.
That's all I had. That's all I want to talk about.
Yeah, the new one you can be a Qunari, which is
Yeah.
very
What does
cool.
that
A
even
female
mean?
Qunari, even.
Yeah.
Which
What
hasn't
does-
even been seen in any
What does
game
that
before.
even mean?
It's like, it's
It's
actually
like a
not a
human
race.
that's real. Qunari. It's like a human that's really tall and has these horns.
Yeah. Unless you're playing Origins, in which case they
Do
don't
they have
have
red
one.
Yeah.
skin?
Well,
So they're
no.
tieflings.
no, Sten is just unique in that he doesn't have.
Wait, do they have
That's
red
true.
skin?
No.
No, you can.
I mean,
customize that, I think.
the ones in Dragon Age 2 have, red war paint,
Yeah.
but they have, regular, pale skin,
Mm-hmm.
usually.
All right.
But yeah, there's never been a female Qunari in the games before, so. It's kind of weird, though, because Qunari aren't actually a race. They're a religion, so really you could play as any other race and still be Qunari, technically. Just throwing that out there.
Can I be a bear Qunari?
Yes. Awesome. It's very close to Barracuda, I feel like.
It is.
Yeah.
Barracuda.
Thank you, Michael.
But then Travis could just show up and flex, and I would explode.
You don't want that.
If I sing too much of that song, is this going to get pulled off the YouTube?
No.
I don't know.
It's part of our thing now, so it's fine.
What is?
Barracudas.
Wait, what? Well,
Look, I'm not going to explain it. We explained this 12 times in a podcast.
We
It was
did.
one last week.
Ooh,
But
so barracudas are a thing now. Okay.
yeah,
Dun, dun.
I'm pretty sure we're protected under free something
parody rules.
because it's a cover,
Yeah, parody.
acapella cover of Barracuda. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Also, we're not monetizing this anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But yeah. So.
Yeah. You
I
hear
love
that,
how
Pokemon? You can't
everyone's
sue us.
connected to the outside world somehow, and I'm just I'm just
Why
to
would
sit in my corner,
Pokemon
really dishonored.
sue us?
Oh, did you hear about Pokemon suing Smosh way back in 2006 or whatever?
No.
Oh gosh, they
actual
they
Pokemon
had
one.
the top video on YouTube for a while, and it was from them singing lip syncing the Pokemon theme,
Oh right.
and they got sued for that. But then they won because of parody rules,
Yeah, because of free use or whatever the law
right?
is.
And I don't know if they got a lot of money out of that, but
Probably not.
props for them.
They
because
probably didn't
that
get a
was
lot of money out of
ridiculous
it.
reason to get sued for.
Unless they counter-sued, they probably didn't get any money out of it. They probably just didn't lose money.
Yeah.
Which Pokemon would make the best lawyer?
Gengar.
I was thinking Sudowoodo.
Probably Wobbuffet, because it just takes everything and reflects it back at the person.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
I was trying to think of a stone-faced Pokemon.
Geodude.
No, not literally. I mean,
Graveler.
No, like a
Steelix.
just the poker-faced
Steelix
Pokemon.
is Steel. Go with Onyx.
I got it.
Onyx got
what is
beaten
that
by
psychic
Sprinkler.
Pokemon from
Kadabra.
6th Gen?
Oh.
The one with the unrelenting staring eyes.
I stopped paying attention.
The mouse one, the cat-looking thing?
Yeah.
Meows. No, not Meowstic. That's the evolved
I don't
one.
remember because I
Unknown.
Yes.
I've memorized.
Which letter?
It can
almost
spell out
all
its arguments
150
with multiple
one
of them.
Pokemon.
And then if they're starting to lose, they can just warp reality.
Yes, precisely.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, I think we're at about time, so
We are.
Chris, wrap us up.
No.
All right?
We're never-
Rachel, wrap us up.
I now have this image going through my head of Phoenix Wright, but with all the characters replaced with Pokemon.
Make it happen, Nintendo.
What,
Somebody
All right,
make
so
that happen.
apparently
Phoenix
I
Wright
have to
v.
go get some
Moltres?
massive tortilla shells because I have to go wrap these guys up. I have no idea why, but
you know, I'm not okay with that.
Oh gosh, yeah, he'd have to be Moltres.
I wish
Yeah, you would.
we were doing a video podcast so people could see how hard I face palmed at Rachel's comment.
I still think see how hard I'm laughing.
She didn't even finish that sentence. Like, what was that? All right, well, that's the end of Mach7 podcast number 15. Thank you for listening. We have a Twitter. We have a Facebook.
Check out our Twitter so I can actually have someone to talk to on there.
We
'cause
have a
I update
website.
those, and I also update the Facebook. Like it.
And
Leave
that's-
some comments.
that's it.
Please.
I'm going to start plugging all of our stuff at the end of our podcast now.
Okay.
But not giving actual links or anything, just saying, like, we have a Twitter.
We have a
Yeah, well,
Twitch,
great to be here.
too,
Oh, we have a Twitch, too.
where you can
have a
watch
Twitch?
me
have a
play
Twitch.
on mute. Because
Dude, you got to get that figured out.
I do, but I'm not starting another new game for the stream.
Also, my Shadow of Mordor stream, I don't know what that is. My Shadow of Mordor streams didn't get saved, and I'm kind of mad about it. I went to look at...
I saw them.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I didn't see them.
I saw them and they had like an expiration date or something.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, well. Boy, is my face red. We weren't going to use those for anything anyway. It was just weird. All right, so that's the end. Say goodbye, everyone.
Yep.
Stick
Bye-bye.
tuned.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say it. Screw you, Travis.
That's the
All right, well, while I
best thing I
internet.
need to plug.
Goodbye, Internet. Thank you for putting up with my terrible pun.
Bye.
You're assuming anybody actually put up with
We
it.
should harmonize.
No. Michael, please.
Cut the video, cut the video, cut the video.
And now he's face palming again. Aw, yeah.
No, it's not 15.5. I want to hear this story. What happened to the cat?
Okay, so my mom is cat sitting right now because for my grandparents back home. She's just there for a little bit because her best friend, who I refer to as my aunt because reasons, is originally cat sitting, but she had to go to a soccer game for her son. So my mom was sitting there, and earlier she was texting me while we were talking about the D&D stuff, and she's just like, "So Sasha fell off the stove." Sasha being my grandparents'
Wait,
cat.
so how did you forget about this when you got a text about it like literally 20 minutes ago?
I'm so mad right now. I'm super mad
'Cause
that I asked you if you had anything to
'Cause
talk
I'm
about, and
like-
you just didn't say anything.
Well, I didn't know if you guys wanted to hear about this. So, this cat, and I'm like, how the fuck did Sasha fall off? Well, so she was sitting at the end of the stove. She goes to stretch, and she's facing the back. She's facing that way. The back of the stove is to her back. So she goes and stretch. She slips off the stove.
It's a fantastic mental picture.
Awful. I love cats.
So, is there any serious damage, or?
Thankfully, no.
Good.
So,
Yeah, she was on the edge. She stretched, and bam.
oh, good. So Chris didn't like come barreling through with his car and like hit her. or
No,
anything?
he did
I
not.
love cats. Cats
I
are
should
my
probably
friend.
ask my mom if that happened.
I think it might have.
Apparently, puppies do not share that same status.
No, I kind of hate dogs.
See, he admits it. Puppy Strangler.
No, I didn't. I did not admit to strangling
have 3
puppies. I
dogs
admitted
back
that I
home.
hate good for you.
They're so
Get
sweet.
faced.
One of them
so
is terrified
cold.
of
I'm
everything.
glad you hate yourself.
Wow.
Love my dogs. Love myself.
All right, no, seriously, this is over now.
Yeah, bye-bye.